Relationships, when viewed through the lens of Zen, offer us an invaluable opportunity for deep practice. It is in our connections with others that we are able to observe, challenge, and expand our own understanding of who we are and how we interact with the world. Through relationships, we are confronted with our tendencies to project, judge, and expect, but also given the space to cultivate acceptance, mindfulness, and compassion. Zen teaches us that these connections are not simply about companionship, but are an invitation to practice being fully present, free from distraction, and free from attachment to outcomes. When we begin to see relationships as practice, they transform from mere social exchanges to profound opportunities for awakening, healing, and growth. The essence of Zen lies in the practice of mindfulness, being fully aware of the present moment, without judgment, without clinging. In relationships, this practice is more important than ever. When we interact with others, it is easy to become caught in the narrative of our own thoughts, desires, and expectations. We may find ourselves anticipating the next words, projecting our past experiences onto the person in front of us, or thinking about what we need from the exchange. Yet, Zen invites us to drop all of that. It teaches us to simply be with the other person as they are, in this moment, without the need for approval, recognition, or reciprocation. In the quiet space of this presence, love can naturally arise, not forced or manipulated, but spontaneously, as a natural result of being fully present with another. To be present in relationships, we must first learn to be present with ourselves. This does not mean perfecting ourselves or molding ourselves into an image of who we think we should be. It means accepting ourselves fully, as we are, without striving for an idealized version of who we think we ought to be. Self-awareness is the foundation of compassionate relationships. When we can look at ourselves with kindness and understanding, we begin to reflect these same qualities in our interactions with others. Zen emphasizes that the root of suffering often comes from self-criticism and self-judgment. We are taught to let go of these negative self-assessments and to simply be, to accept ourselves as we are in this moment. From this acceptance, we learn to offer the same understanding and compassion to others. In relationships, one of the most common struggles is the tendency to hold on to expectations. Whether we expect someone to behave in a certain way, fulfill a particular need, or adhere to a set of unspoken rules, these expectations create tension and dissatisfaction. Expectations place a weight on the relationship, turning it into something transactional rather than organic. Zen teaches us that when we release these expectations, we make space for true love and connection to unfold. This is not about lowering standards or becoming passive. It is about freeing both ourselves and the other person from the pressure of trying to meet preconceived ideals. Love, in its most profound form, is not about demanding anything from another person. It is about offering ourselves fully and allowing the other person the freedom to do the same. True compassion is not about pity or sympathy. It is about deep understanding and empathy. Zen encourages us to see others as they truly are, without overlaying our own judgments or projections onto them. In a relationship, this means accepting the other person with all their imperfections, quirks, and vulnerabilities. It means acknowledging that they too are human, carrying their own joys and struggles. Compassionate love does not require us to fix the other person or solve their problems. It simply invites us to sit with them in their pain, to witness their struggles with tenderness, and to offer support when needed. In Zen practice, we learn that it is not about doing for others, but being with them in a way that fosters understanding, peace, and connection. One of the most powerful practices in Zen is that of no agenda, simply being with someone without the need to change them or to get something in return. Relationships often become tangled in the desire to control or influence the other person. We may unconsciously try to make them behave in ways that meet our needs or expectations. But Zen encourages us to release this need for control. It invites us to be with others as they are, not as we want them to be. In this practice of no agenda, we experience relationships as they are, beautiful in their imperfection, rich in their authenticity. This practice can be incredibly freeing. It removes the burden of trying to manipulate or change the dynamics, and instead invites us to simply show up with an open heart, ready to connect in the present moment. Zen also teaches us that relationships are impermanent. This doesn't mean that we shouldn't value or invest in our connections, but rather that we should recognize that nothing is permanent, and that attachment to the idea of permanence can lead to suffering. All relationships, whether romantic, familial, or friendships, change over time. People grow, circumstances shift, and the dynamics evolve. When we attach ourselves to a particular outcome or timeline, we can create unnecessary suffering. Zen invites us to approach relationships with fluidity, knowing that they are a constant flow of change. By accepting the impermanence of relationships, we are able to cherish them more deeply and to let go of the need to control their trajectory. We come to appreciate the beauty of the present moment and to experience the richness of each encounter without clinging to the idea of forever. When we let go of expectations, we also let go of the need to be right. In relationships, we often become entrenched in our own views, opinions, and perceptions. We argue, we defend, we try to prove our point. But Zen teaches us that in the face of conflict, the most important thing is not to be right. It is to be present and open to understanding. By letting go of the desire to win, we create space for real communication to occur. Instead of fighting to be heard, we listen with an open heart, with the intention of understanding, not winning. In this way, Zen encourages us to approach relationships with humility, not arrogance, to recognize that we are all fallible and that there is always something to learn from each person we encounter. In moments of disagreement, Zen reminds us that conflict is not inherently negative. It is an opportunity for growth, for deeper understanding, and for cultivating patience and compassion. When we approach conflict with mindfulness, we are able to engage with it in a way that is constructive rather than destructive. We can remain grounded in our own presence rather than becoming swept up in the emotions of the moment. Conflict, when met with presence, becomes an opportunity to deepen our connection and to cultivate the virtues of patience, understanding, and compassion. When we bring Zen principles into our relationships, we begin to realize that the true measure of love is not in what we give or receive, but in the quality of our presence. It is not about grand gestures or dramatic acts of sacrifice, but about being fully there, showing up without reservation, without the need for recognition, without expectation. In relationships, love is not something we can force or control. It is something that arises naturally when we are present with each other, when we are open, when we are compassionate. Zen teaches us that the key to fulfilling relationships is not found in effort, but in surrendering to the flow of the present moment. Through the lens of Zen, we can see that relationships are not just about companionship or connection. They are an ongoing practice, a way to cultivate compassion, mindfulness, and presence. They are a space for us to learn, grow, and heal. In relationships, we are reminded to be fully present, to listen deeply, and to let go of expectations. We are reminded that true love is not a transaction, but a gift given freely without the need for reciprocation. When we allow love to flow naturally, without interference from the ego or expectations, we open ourselves to deeper connection, greater understanding, and more profound peace. Relationships at their core are opportunities to practice Zen, moments where we can embody presence, compassion, and acceptance. Through these practices, we not only enrich our relationships with others, but also deepen our relationship with ourselves and with the world around us. If this message resonates, subscribe for daily Zen reflections and guided wisdom to help you reconnect, reflect, and become fully yourself. Until then, remember, be with others as you are with yourself.